All right, welcome back. Today, we're diving into, well, one of the most powerful and emotional reunions in all of history. We're talking about a story of two brothers, separated by fear and betrayal for 20 long years.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been absolutely terrified to say, "I'm sorry"? You know that feeling, right? That knot in your stomach when you have to face someone you've wronged and you have no idea how they're going to react? Well, that's exactly where we find Jacob as our chapter opens.
So, let's get right into it. The first part, a fearful approach. 20 years of fear are about to come to a head. I want you to picture this like a movie scene. Imagine you're standing right there with Jacob. The sun is just starting to get hot, baking this wide, dusty plain. Jacob, man, he's exhausted. He's just spent a whole night wrestling with a divine being. He looks up, squints towards the horizon, and he sees it. A cloud of dust. And it's getting closer. He knows who it is. It's his brother Esau.
And here's the thing. Esau is not alone. No, he's got 400 men with him. 400. Now, you tell me, does that sound like a friendly hello? To Jacob, this doesn't look like a welcome party. This looks like an army. It looks like payback. After 20 years of dreading this exact moment, it feels like his worst nightmare is coming true.
So what do? Jacob's mind is just racing. He comes up with this desperate three-part plan. Okay, first, split everyone into two groups. Maybe, just maybe, one group can escape if they're attacked. Second, he arranges his family, kind of like a human shield, with his most beloved wife Rachel and his son Joseph way in the back, the safest spot. And then, step 3, he decides to go forward all by himself. Think about that for a second. The old Jacob, the trickster, he would have hidden in the back. But this new Jacob, the one who just wrestled with God, he steps up and puts himself right in the line of fire.
All right, next scene, 7 bows of humility. This is an ancient gesture with a really powerful meaning. So Jacob starts to walk, all alone. Can you just imagine how thick the air is with tension? I mean, you can practically hear his heart pounding in his chest. You can hear the nervous bleating of the sheep and the terrified, hushed whispers of his family watching from behind him.
Now, to really get what Jacob does next, we have to understand this word, prostration. It basically means bowing so low your face touches the ground. In the ancient world, this wasn't just a hello. This was a sign of total respect and submission. I mean, this is the kind of bow you'd only give to a powerful king, or even to God. It's him saying, "I am completely at your mercy."
And get this, he doesn't just do it once. He bows down 7 times. 7. As he gets closer and closer to Esau, he keeps bowing down, his face literally in the dust. You know, in the Bible, the number 7 often means something is perfect or complete. So Jacob isn't just saying sorry, he's showing his brother complete and perfect humility. He's holding absolutely nothing back.
So now we come to it, the brothers' embrace. This is the moment of truth. All of Jacob's planning, all his fear, the gifts, the bows, it has all led to this one single moment. He's done everything he possibly can. Now, it's all up to Esau. The lives of his wives, his children, his entire future is on the line. Can you even imagine what's going through Jacob's head as he makes that 7th and final bow, his face pressed against the dirt? I mean, 20 years. I have feared this moment for 2 decades. The what-ifs must have been screaming in his mind. What if he still hates me? What if this is the end? What have I done to my family? And then, something totally unexpected happens. The man leading an army of 400 soldiers, he doesn't pull out a sword. He doesn't wait for Jacob to get up. The text says, but Esau ran to meet Jacob. He just drops everything, and he runs. Not with anger, but with, well, let's see. This is the absolute climax of the story. He throws his arms around his brother's neck, he kisses him, and they both just weep. Right there in the middle of the field. 20 years of bitterness, of anger, of fear, just washed away in a flood of tears. Imagine that scene. An army of 400 tough guys just standing there in silence, watching these 2 grown men, these 2 brothers, hold each other and cry. It must have been incredible.
Okay, so the tension is completely broken. The fear is gone. And what's left is this beautiful, maybe a little awkward, but definitely warm family reunion. It's time for the next generation, the kids who probably grew up hearing scary stories about their uncle Esau, to finally meet him. So Jacob brings them forward.
First the handmaids and their children come up and bow down. Then Leah and her children, they come forward and bow. And finally, at the very end, Rachel and Joseph come near and bow too. They all show their uncle the same deep respect. And you realize, this isn't just about two brothers making up. This is about healing the whole family. It's about two future nations starting off on the right foot, in peace.
So now we get to this conversation that really helps heal the past. There's one more thing to deal with. That huge gift of goats and sheep and camels that Jacob sent ahead. This could have been a really awkward moment, but Esau's response is just, wow, incredibly gracious.
And this part really shows you what's in their hearts. Esau says, I have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. He's basically saying, we're good. You don't owe me anything. But Jacob insists, and this is so important. It's not a bribe anymore. It's a true gift of gratitude. And then he says one of the most amazing things in the whole book. To see your face is like seeing the face of God now that you have received me favorably. What he means is, the way you've forgiven me, the grace you've shown me, it feels like I'm looking at the kindness of God himself. Just wow. And when Esau finally accepts the gift, it's like he's putting a final seal on their reconciliation. It's his way of saying, I hear you, I accept your apology, and we are truly okay. The past is finally in the past, and they part ways not as enemies, not as rivals, but as brothers, truly at peace.
All right, so this leads to a new beginning, a new home, a new name, and a brand new future. Esau actually offers to travel with Jacob, which is a really kind gesture, but Jacob politely says no, explaining that his young children and all the animals have to move slowly. So as Esau heads home to Seir, Jacob continues his journey, and for the first time in 20 years, think about this, he isn't running from something, he is walking peacefully toward his future. And we see how his journey continues peacefully. First, he and Esau part ways. Then, Jacob makes a stop at a place called Sukkoth and actually builds shelters for his family and livestock. He's taken his time, being a responsible leader. And then, he does something huge. He arrives near the city of Shechem, and for the first time in his life, he buys a piece of land. After a whole lifetime of wandering and running, Jacob is finally putting down roots. He's home. So what's the very first thing he does on his new property? He builds an altar, and he gives it a really specific name, El Elohe Israel. This name is so cool. It basically means God, the God of Israel. Remember, Israel is Jacob's new name, so he's making a very personal statement here. Think about this. Jacob doesn't build a monument to himself or to his reunion with Esau. He builds a monument to the God who made it all possible. By using his own new name, Israel, and the altar's name, it's like he's planting a flag and declaring to the whole world, everything I am, everything I have, my new identity, the fact that my brother forgave me, my safe return home, it's all because of my God, the God of Israel. The old, tricky Jacob is gone. This is a new man. Okay, so why are we talking about this? Why does a story from thousands of years ago matter to you and me today? Well, because it's way more than just a cool history lesson. It's a roadmap for our own lives. It's about improving our own character traits, what some wise teachers call middot. Basically, our inner dimensions, like our capacity for humility and forgiveness. I mean, look at the lessons here. First, humility. Real, genuine humility can totally disarm anger. It can turn someone you're afraid of into a friend. Second, courage. Having the guts to face your past is the only way to start building a new future. And finally, forgiveness. True forgiveness doesn't just help the other person, it brings freedom and healing to everyone. These are the big takeaways for our own lives. So here it is. Here's our Midot challenge for the week. I want you to think of one person in your life. Maybe it's someone you need to forgive, or maybe it's someone you need to ask for forgiveness from. Your challenge is to take one small, humble step. You don't have to bow 7 times, but maybe you can send a text, or make a phone call, or even just say a prayer for them in your heart. Just take that first step to build a bridge, not a wall. Be a little like Jacob was on his best day. Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Part S. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.